Domschke with the track and the timing of today's storms. Payton.
Well, the threat in place in that AccuWeather alert is for a couple reasons. The ground is so saturated already, and we've got rounds of heavy rainfall still expected today, but even the chance for an isolated strong to severe storm. But where I want to start with you is how much rainfall we've seen in not only the past couple of days, but including today. We have over 2 inches of wet weather for the city of Philadelphia for the entirety of the month of April. We average about 3.5 inches, so we already have put quite the amount in the bucket for the month so far, and there's more where that came from. That's why we still have this flood watch posted for most of the area. That goes through tomorrow afternoon. Of course, after the heavy and steady wet weather is out of here, it takes some of that residual buildup to really see the creeks and streams effects from all of this. Heaviest of wet weather denoted by the brighter tones on your screen from parts of the Lehigh Valley all the way down to Cape May County. And this is headed offshore, but let me tell you, we're not done just yet. It may look like the worst of it is out of here, but the severe potential is what we have to watch for. The atmosphere is very unstable through parts of the Virginia area, all the way up through parts of even West Virginia too, and that's going to continue to the north and east. And as it does for us, the potential for maybe even a little squirrely thunderstorm here can't be ruled out. So the time frame of most concern about 2 o'clock to about 8 p.m. Heavy rainfall, as I mentioned, that flood threat is already in place, but an isolated severe storm can't be ruled out. I think that greatest chance is south and east of I-95. Hail, strong winds, and even an isolated tornado can't be ruled out here. We'll have more on the timing and tracking coming up in just a little bit. But John, we are not done even with the rain this evening, but this evening has a little bit of a catch to it. That's the severe potential out of this entire system as it moves on through. By tomorrow, we've got about nothing. The Storm Prediction Center puts out outlooks that includes a level 1 to 5. You can see it's focused mainly south of Center City, but parts of Kent County and even parts of the southern tip of Cape May included in a slight risk for severe weather. That's a level 2 out of 5. That just means we're giving you a heads up that a strong to severe storm is a possibility. It's not a slam dunk. It's not a guarantee, but it could happen. So let's focus in on today's threats and that's because not only are we continuing to see wet weather, but we've had rounds of it for the past several days. I mean, we've had over 2 inches for the city of Philadelphia, and we're not even 3 days into the entire month of April. But street and even creek flooding is very likely out of this scenario, as some of the convective potential is still here as we go through the second half of the day, which means some higher rainfall rates, which means more totals in the way of that wet weather. Now, the severe storm potential is down south, remember, but the time frame perhaps 2 to 8 o'clock. Favorable location southeast of I-95. All threats are basically on the table. An isolated tornado can't even be completely ruled out. It looks less likely for us as a whole in comparison to our folks through the mid-Atlantic. For us, though, here is that heavy batch of wet weather stretching up the New Jersey Parkway right now. Everyone from Cape May County up through the Lehigh Valley dealing with that moderate wet weather. And then there's actually a little bit of a low in the activity. It doesn't break up completely, but light in nature as we go through the next couple of hours, especially in some of those areas like Philadelphia right now. It's not as heavy as it once was. What we're watching for, though, is back off to the west. There's a cold front that has to swing on through, and you can already see through parts of Virginia just these storms really starting to fire here over the last hour as I've looped it here very slowly for you. Their atmosphere is more in the way of being ripe than what we'll experience because they've got temperatures, air temperatures right now in the 70s. Their dew points are up. They're seeing some clearing. Anytime you see sunshine on a day where there's severe potential here, that means that those thunderstorms can pack a little bit more of a punch. For us, though, I think our best chance for seeing some of that gusty thunderstorm activity is about 3 o'clock. This starts to move through, and you can see just the tones on your screen have really ramped up, some tones of red here. That passes through pretty quickly, so a brief gust here with those thunderstorms can't be ruled out. Perhaps some small hail, and of course, this is going to be perhaps a little squirrely in nature as an actual triple point low starts to move on through. So we've got convective potential with this as as that convergence boundary really starts to move. High temperatures today, though, differ based on where the warm front draws north. So a little warmer through South Jersey, a little cooler through parts of the Lehigh Valley and the Poconos. Your exclusive AccuWeather round that we have left, but unfortunately we do have a couple more chances through your Thursday and maybe even on Friday as well. The weekend looks better and brighter. Same thing by next week. We will all forget very easily what happened this week come next week. But the AccuWeather alert is in place for a couple of reasons. We could sneak out perhaps a strong to severe storm during the second half of today, but I think the damage is already starting to be felt across the area. 72-hour rainfall totals. That includes everything we got from April Fool's Day, which was no joke for you when it came to the rainfall across the region. But even yesterday, a lot of you over 2.5 inches. That includes Pottstown, Trenton around 2 inches, and all the way to even Allentown over 2.5 inches of wet weather. And there's more where that came from. The flood watch is posted from right now all the way through the day tomorrow, and that's for some residual stuff that happens tomorrow, even though the heavy and consistent wet weather will be outbound and out of here. Someone else's issue. In fact, it'll be more of a fish storm as it heads through the open water of the Atlantic. But right now, where is the heavy stuff? You can tell based on the brighter tones on your screen. The yellows and oranges start to pop on up through most of South Jersey right now. So Center City is kind of in a lull. They've got some light rainfall, some mist, some drizzle, some hindered visibility is still ongoing. But everyone from the Toms River all the way down the New Jersey Parkway still dealing with the most consistent and uptick in rainfall across the area to Bass River all the way down to Beach Haven, even Surf City. That continues southbound closer to Sea Isle City. This tapers off, but we've got another round to start to watch. It's all of this that's starting to fire. They actually have some severe thunderstorm warnings down through Virginia. This is all headed to the north and east, and as it does so, that's the extra little oomph that we're waiting for in the atmosphere. That comes to us tonight. I think the time frame that we have to focus in on is about 2 to 8 o'clock. So more of that gusty wind-driven rain is expected through the afternoon and evening, unfortunately, and the streams already running high. We'll watch for street and even some of that creek flooding as a more likely event, and we'll time out the rest of today, Sarah, coming up. And of course, the silver